I started in 1991. I worked on a wine farm as a picker, tractor driver, and I was just trying to kill some time before I went backpacking in Europe. And as I left, I really liked what I did, and I thought, well, if you can do the most basic job on a wine farm and you enjoy it, it can only become better if you go upstream. So I applied to study viticulture and enology, and then on my returns from my travels, I got accepted, and that's where my journey started. Sure. So, Raats Family Wines was founded in 2000, but before that, I've worked in Bordeaux, Napa Valley, Italy, and Germany. And when I returned to South Africa, I realized that the most successful people in the world of wine is people that specialize. I didn't want to specialize in things I didn't believe in. And I love Cabernet Franc and Chenin Blanc. And that's why I started Raats on the basis that we specialize in Chenin Blanc and Cabernet Franc. Um, you must also remember is that in 2000, it was the two uncoolest varieties, not just in South Africa, but in the world. And, today, 2025, everybody wants to drink Chenin Blanc and Cabernet Franc. It's a new cool kids on the block. Um, I didn't chose those because they were uncool or they were cool. I chose it because that's what I want. I really believe that if I wanted to create excellence in wine, Chenin Blanc and Cabernet Franc are the two varieties that I want to do it in. When you visit Raats Family Wines, I think you'll see that, we try to be what we're not. We simple farmers. Um, you taste at my house where I live, where the office is, the tasting room. Um, it's real, it's family. And um, one thing, I've got four dogs, and when you stop there, they run up to you, especially my two goldies. Um, and they come say hello to you, and they'll follow you to the tasting room if you want to. And then they will probably lie there until the tastings open. So, we have this wonderful, and we've got ducks. So we created a very family environment. We live there, and it's real. That's who we are. We don't try to pretend what we're not. So what we can provide to people when they visit Raats Family Wines is a very unique experience and personal experience in wine. I think Chenin Blanc and Cabernet Franc has grown into what people really want today because they both can produce quite complex wines, aromatic wines, but at very elegant and low in alcohol. So I think that, um, you know, when I started off in the 2000s, everybody was looking for Parker wines, and it had a lot of oak, high alcohol, big extraction, and really people didn't want to taste Cabernet Franc and Chenin Blanc that had elegance, acidity, low in alcohol. So the world, I didn't move, but the world in terms of style had moved towards us. And for me, that's very exciting because we pretty much still do what we've done 25 years ago, but people so much want to try it and interested in it. So I think that there's a bright future for Cabernet Franc and Chenin Blanc, and I think it will only become more popular as time goes on. Um, I'm very specific regarding winemaking or cellar. I just see it as a tool. It's just to get whatever's in the vineyard, whatever's in the soil. What's in the soil is reflected in the grapes, and to the cellar is just a means to actually get it to the bottle. So and to interfere as less as possible, and that's why we have wines like the Raats Original Chenin Blanc, original flavor of Chenin Blanc. That's why I have wines like the Dolomite Cabernet Franc, which Nothing fancy about it. It's literally grapes that was picked, the juice was squeezed out, it was fermented, and it was bottled. I want as little as possible between the soil, the grapes, and what ends up in your glass. So it's a very simple philosophy. Nothing fancy, just show the beauty of your variety and your soil. We have done an analysis for the last 112 years on Polka Dry Hills, my little ward in the Stellenbosch region, except that it's the coolest ward in Stellenbosch. Um, we've also found that the temperature is not going to change that much, but it's going to definitely, rainfall, it would appear, it's going to be lower. So what we have done, and I've already started back in 2008, before most people were thinking about how global warming is going to affect climate change, is that we started irrigating at night time. Because obviously, if you irrigate during the day, you get a lot of trans evaporation. So what we rather now do is irrigate at night time so that the vine goes hydrated into a warm day, for instance. Um, we've used full cover crop, meaning that we cover the soil. Again, it creates a much more natural habitat, and also it keeps the water in, and again, trans evaporation. Um, Also, we've used a lot of vine by pole, um, and that obviously creates around sun penetration right around, so you can ripen the fruit in a cooler part of summer, so you don't need as much water, because most time if you have to water, it's in the warmer later part of summer. So we bud early and we start early so that we ripen our fruit early part in summer, so we can get full ripeness early in the season, um, and then also have lower alcohol and greater acidity. But that's not my doing. That's with the help from the granite soil. Certain things in life happen to you without planning it. And the collaboration between Mzukona and VMV and myself, he did his practical with me. He happens to be the first qualified black winemaker in Africa. We became very good friends, and we had, after he finished, we had one night, we had a braai on my farm, and we spoke about it. And I asked him, so if you can make a wish, what would you wish for as a winemaker? And he said, to create an ultra premium quality wine from South Africa that is consistently up there with the best in the world. And that, you know, back in the early 2000s, South Africa did not have icon wine or ultra premium wine. So we were technically the first ultra premium quality wine in South Africa. So that was born from the desire to create excellence. And the vehicle we chose to create this excellence was wine. And that is why how the company MR and Bruwer Raats, his surname, my surname, was created in 2004. Raats Family Wines is 25 years old, and we our DNA is the same. We specialize in Chenin Blanc and Cabernet Franc. We have added the Eden project in 2014, which was the high density single vineyard Chenin Blanc and Cabernet Franc. But and that have been a huge success. We want to ultimately just continues on focusing on quality and making it better. Um, we've reached a size now where we don't really want to expand in terms of volume. So for the last 4 years, we've been consistent in our production, and the big drive now is to just become better. I tell everybody that works in Raats, when you get to a certain level, it's impossible to be 10 or 15% better every year, but it's possible to be 2 or 3% better. And, after 10 years, you're 20 or 30% better than you were 10 years before. So I think myself and everybody, my family, everybody that works in Raats, I ask them just do something better, 2 or 3% better next year. The UK wine market for South Africa in terms of export have always been the biggest, and we've got a very close relationship with the UK. There's a lot of South African families that have family here and vice versa. Um, we've been trading with each other for a very long time. In fact, in the 1700s, um, the UK wine market was our biggest export in Vinde Constance and so on. So this has always been and still are, I think, the most important export country for South African wine. And I love coming here. I love the people. I love London, even Scotland. I really, and I think most South Africans would agree with me. So I think that trading relationship and goodwill between the British people and South African wine will only grow. UK wine scene, if I think of it, I think of elegance, complexity, consistency. Um, the UK have definitely, we have definitely benefited from um, the style changes that have happened, not just in the UK, but I think globally, where people were looking for wine that are more elegant, lower in alcohol, in red, softer tannin, um, you know, wines that still have complexity, but are more elegant and understated and have freshness and acidity. And that is the DNA of Raats Family Wines. So um, we have we have only become more popular rather than out of date. And I think it's very important to realize is that I've never tried to be the cool kid. I've never tried to follow trends. I've never tried to be in fashion, because if you do that, you will be out of fashion or you will be out of trend within a period of time. So my vision forward is do what you can do best from the soil that you're farming and be consistent in your quality, your message, and the direction you're going in. And that Raats Family Wines have done that for 25 years. And as long as I'm here, we'll continue doing that for the next 25 years. To ask me what is my favorite wine or my favorite recommendation is like asking what's your favorite child. I usually ask people, if people ask me that, I usually ask them, what is your favorite child? And if they don't have children, I ask, which is your favorite dog? So people very quickly get the answer. But if I was allowed to have a favorite child, or then wine for that matter, I would probably take the Emma de Compostela. It's very seldom in life that you have opportunity to act so spontaneously and when things just happen for a reason. And so I think in my choice, there's a lot of emotion and history behind it. So if I was allowed, Emma de Compostela. I started working with Alliance Company in 2008, and I see your importer as a marriage. You go through good times, you go through bad times. So I have stayed with Alliance and I love them and they love me. So it's been a wonderful relationship for over 17 years, and I still hope to work with them for a long time.